nation. And I dig in the grave, no fuck with me hand. I find some of them, they live in...
Yes, indeed, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry. Let's go straight, of course, to the headquarters of the UNC. I think we owe it to ourselves, of course, to be there because, of course, it is about candidate presentation and it is about, of course, a policy and program as Kamala Persad-Bissessar, of course, has taken the stage. Of course, it was important for me to say and to throw a pot shot, of course, at Rowley. Rowley is back, of course, and continues to cut ribbons. We know what that means. It means that it's a photo op merely, of course, to suggest that somehow they must be able to sanitize themselves, having, of course, subjected us to all kinds of evil, unprecedented, and believe that somehow they can win an election in this country in the future. Tobago, of course, just have to be referenced in order for us to understand that the date and time is what is now required. And of course, the days of the PNM and the Rowley and of course all their shenanigans are numbered. Yes, indeed. Welcome to the corridor transformation, all and sundry. And let's go quickly, of course, to Kamala Persad-Bissessar on the podium as she takes the podium.
Like Tarzan swinging from vine to vine. This time I help you to make up your mind. Fitzgerald, Rasta City, I know they go glad to get your body. Resi on beat and don't fall to sea. Drink 2 beers and watch Coco get happy.
Yes, thank you, our MP, Michelle Benjamin. We are ready. We are ready. Without any further ado, we want to welcome tonight to the microphone a powerful voice for the United National Congress, a man who always articulates the points on radio, outside of the parliament, inside the parliament. Tonight, let us welcome the powerful voice of one, Senator Anil Roberts.
UNC family, good evening. When you heard the drums.
Yes, people, of course, we have gone straight to Rainzy Complex. I like to call it Rainzy because it has some nostalgic tone and reminiscent, but of course it is at their brand new headquarters in Chaguanas. Indeed, of course, a very, what I consider to be very powerful and impressive edifice called UNC headquarters. But let's hear Anil Roberts before Kamala Persad-Bissessar comes on. I think we owe it to them.
UNC! Could you imagine those poor drummers who will have to be paid to beat drums for small pin? I'm feeling sorry for them already. I don't know where they're going to have to close their eyes and dream that they're beating the drum for Kamala in order to get some rhythm. Because that small pin inspires nothing. A small pin is not good for anything, whether to pin Pampers, clothes, or any other use. Ask all the ladies who do the domestic chores. As we talk about sport, right across there is a sporting facility built by Kamala Persad-Bissessar. Did you all know that? It still looks beautiful. But as I drove up here at 6:08 p.m., I saw the gate locked. I saw security. I saw fencing and barbed wire. And I said, we didn't put that. We put a fence, but we didn't create it like a jail to lock out the community. The policy of Kamala Persad-Bissessar was that your facilities are for you, the people, not to lock out the people. When I went into the Ministry of Sport in 2010, I found out that the PNM's policy does that schools have to pay to play football in the stadium, intercall match 5,000, to utilize gym, to utilize swimming pool. The people had to pay to use their own facility. And I said, but that had to be madness. I ran to the cabinet and I said, Honorable Prime Minister, don't you think that this should be free of charge? It's the people, and she said, yes, Minister, make it free. And Kamala Prasad, the assessor across Trinidad and Tobago, made the usage of all your sporting facilities free. The PNM has come and charging you. Elections have serious consequences. But this PNM is the worst thing. Not even the devil could envisage how pathetic and incompetent this PNM is. Rowley and Smallpin. Now all you don't laugh, you know. Don't laugh because it's all your country them representing. And if all you don't wake up and call your cousin and call your family and call your nenen and get ready from Maruga to Matlot to vote them out, then we have to take the blame. You know where this PNM reached? Today, they spent over $778,000 to open two floors of a 13-story building. Them spend nearly $750,000 to open 15.38% of a building. It is finished. 15% complete.
People, let me just add that it's $1 billion that it really costs. That is the official statement that was made today in that so-called half-picked duck opening.
You all understand what I just told you all? That is where we reach in this country. That a government, two prime ministers, one who quit and running, and the next one who crying and trying to become prime minister designate, open 2 floors of a hospital because they want to put a plaque. So incompetent is the PNM that that's what they have to do. And the media there taking picture. Why didn't just take a 15% picture? When I was 15% of the way from Diego Martin to St. Mary's, I reached Aranguez. Well, I should have stopped and talked there. When India was playing New Zealand in the Champions Trophy final over the weekend, they were chasing 253 for victory. India should have scored 40 and stop and take the trophy. Yeah? They were 15% of the way. If you're a neurosurgeon and you're in the theater and you're cutting a tumor and you reach 15%, you should just stop, leave the patient to dead. That is PNM. So when the election time comes, let PNM get 15% of the vote. The other 85%, we will vote them out from all over Trinidad, across the country, and get rid of them for good. They have a PNM man called Asim Basarat. He say he coming from somewhere down here. He promised Rowley that he will bring Maruga Tableland to Rowley. Well, Rowley, Asim Basarat and Rowley are 2 peas in a pod. They fit together perfectly. Show me your friends and I'll show you who you are. Because just like Rowley and Imbat, who can't account for your money, can't find 2.6 billion, say it was there, then it's not there, then disappear. Where it is, they can't investigate, they want to investigate. Asim Basarat can't account for the cricket money either. So 2 of them should line together. Rowley reached back from California. Rowley went California, he ran California, he dressed up in some nice Oreo clothes. He went to a yacht club with fancy boats behind, and he put a picture of himself before Carnival, and he said, I'm in a good spirit, he said. That was before somebody at the State Department and Marco Rubio office called him and tell me, boss, and you was dancing conga line with Maduro? And you allowed Delcy Rodriguez to land in Trinidad and Tobago on a sanctioned jet with PDVSA officials during the pandemic? And you is the man who sent your mini-me Smallpin back and forth to Venezuela 13 times at $1.2 million for the year to deal with Maduro. And it's you who cussed my U.S. Ambassador Modelo when he told you that you were in breach of the Rio Treaty and you said what Trump could do. Well, Rowley come back here after being in a good spirit, after going to California any chance he get. If he get a pimple on his nose, he gone California to check it. If he get a earache, he gone California to check it. If he want to play golf, he gone California to check it. If he can't take one Woodruff place, he gone California to breeze out. Whatever he do, he go USA to relax. All of a sudden, Raul, he come and say, well, if I never go back there, it wouldn't bother me. Let me tell you something. Raul, Kamala tried to warn you. She tried to help you. She tried to guide you and remind you that you are the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, that you are not the Prime Minister of Rowley, that it is not about money, that you are there to serve the people, that the principles of humanity, democracy, transparency, accountability, righteousness must be upheld, that you cannot do business with a corrupt drug trafficker. Over 8 million citizens run from them, and you dancing conga line with a dictator. The time will come when you will have to pay. So don't blame Kamala now that Trump come for you. Don't blame Kamala because Rubio come for you. Don't blame Kamala because Elon Musk come for you. It's you who chose a narco-trafficking dictator over our #1 trading partner, the USA. Now we must save ourselves. We must save ourselves and listen very carefully. Rowley, that happened to Rowley and Smallpin, it's good for them. Fire burn them. Them should get anything that them deserve and more. However, they were not only representing themselves, they were representing Trinidad and Tobago. So we must save ourselves because we love to go to the USA. We love to shop online with USA. We love USA clothes and fashion. We like to go and relax in the USA. We like our children to go to sporting events in the USA and get great coaching. We like to go to the USA to relax and see our families, to eat food and to tour. We need to be relaxed with our visa applications. Therefore, we have to show the USA that foreign policy is on the ballot, that we are going to vote for Kamala Persad-Bissessar, a woman who puts USA and Europe together. Woo. It's hot, thank you, boss. Now you see, that is Prime Minister, that is leader. One of our soldiers sweating, she sent napkin for the boy, you see? That is what you're talking about. So we must save ourselves from the damage that Rowley has done. We must show the difference in policy. Rowley is Maduro, cares not for democracy, cares not for the 8 million people who ran from the country, cares not about corruption, cares not about drug trafficking, cares not about narco-terrorism. Kamala Persad-Bissessar wants nothing to do with a dictator. Kamala Persad-Bissessar believes in democracy. She believes in the Rio Treaty. She believes in the USA, Canada, Europe, and our trading partners. She believes that drug and gas is a good deal when negotiated properly with public servants, with a proper president duly elected to Venezuela, and with a new Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, Kamala Persad-Bissessar, the dragon will dance properly.
Yesterday, just in case you just joined us, of course, I thought we should join the UNC. There's some candidates are being presented of the UNC, and at the same time, of course, they have their public meeting. A lot of information. Remember, Rowley has returned, and of course, we have some questions that we will be pursuing after this exercise. But Kamala is yet to come on, so we will wait until after she makes her presentation. Let's take in what is happening at the UNC meeting.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. Good night. God bless.
So once again, of course, a pleasant good night to all and sundry, East, West, North, South, Central, our friends in Tobago, and wherever you are, streaming on the World Wide Web, a pleasant good day to you. I think, of course, Kamala Prasad Bisasa may well be coming on at this point in time. But, of course, we have joined, of course, the UNC at their Monday night meeting. I think there is about the presentation of some of the candidates. And, of course, you know that the PNM will have a special convention again, but not for the installation of leadership, not internal, but of course another hoodwinking, what I consider to be cat spraddling debacle, shameless, in an attempt, of course, to keep the faithful. But we will, of course, monitor and we will ensure, of course, that the population gets its just due in the fullness of time. So, of course, we are waiting until, of course, the stage is again populated with a speaker. I think Kamala Prasad Bisasa is the one to next, of course, visit the stage. But I understand that there has been some presentation as well of candidates, so we will look at that as well. And I cannot, of course, reiterate that Rowley is back. And of course, we still have questions as to why he would have gone to the United States so soon. And of course, Carnival Man, and in that period, and now is back, of course. And as Annie Roberts said, I didn't know that, but it is typical and not surprising that, of course, the hospital wing, the central block that was open, only 2 floors I understand that were open. But that is part of the theatrics, that is part of the histrionics, and that is part of the efforts to treat with mamagaing the population. But let's go back to the podium because Kamala Prasad Bisasa is there. So they are in, of course, Moruga Tableland. It appears I am not, you would forgive me if I missed the
Let us
the venue.
thank our 2 chairpersons. Thank you very much for keeping the proceedings going. And let us big it up for the speakers who came before me, Sean Sobers, Attorney Jagdev Singh, who is here with us. Remind me, of course, well, you can't forget Anil, can you? Give it up for Anil Roberts. And of course, your own MP, Michelle Benjamin. Give it up for Michelle again. To all our colleagues who are here this evening, we thank them for attending. To all of you, the good people of Moruga Tableland, I say good evening to you and thank you.
So
for
we know now
us.
is Moruga Tableland
I
that
want
the
to
meeting
remind
is being
you
held, not at
what the
not at
UNC
party
stands
headquarters
for.
in Shogunas.
The UNC is the largest and the most active party in Trinidad and Tobago. And not only here in TNT, but also in the English-speaking Caribbean. Our party is built on core principles, and we have a history of struggle. I take from our party's constitution, which is the founding document for us, and which guides us at all times. And I do this tonight to remind you of our founding principles. And then I will take you to the supreme law of Trinidad and Tobago, which is the Constitution of the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago. So let's start with the UNC Constitution. It says that we have affirmed that the nation of Trinidad and Tobago is founded upon principles that acknowledge the supremacy of God, faith in fundamental human rights and freedoms, the position of the family in a society of free men and free institutions, the dignity of the human person, and the equal and inalienable rights with which all members of the human family are endowed by their Creator. Our Constitution continues, we respect the principle of justice and therefore believe that the operation of the economic system should result in the material resources of the community being so distributed as to serve all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. We continue. It should serve the common good. That there should be adequate means of livelihood for all. Our Constitution also enshrines the party's Constitution that labor should not be exploited or forced by economic necessity to operate in inhumane conditions, but there should be opportunity for advancement on the basis of recognition of merit, ability, and integrity. We have asserted their belief in a democratic society in which all persons may, to the extent of their capacity, play some part in the institutions of national life and thus develop and maintain due respect for lawfully constituted authority. Our party's Constitution recognizes that men and women and institutions remain free only when freedom is founded and grounded upon respect for moral and spiritual values and the rule of law. So here we are. This is what the UNC is founded upon and what we continue to stand for. I want to tell you tonight, let not your hearts be troubled. We are UNC. We are UNC and we are proud. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. If you want a country where everyone has the opportunity to do better, win with the UNC. If you want a government who will hunt down the criminals and keep them off the streets, win with the UNC. If you want a government who will protect you from the criminals and who will not run from responsibility, win with the UNC. If you want a government who doesn't take you for granted, win with the UNC. If you want a government to keep your old age pensions and your public assistance, win with the UNC. If you want to make sure that you get the salary increases you deserve, win with the UNC. And if you want a government who will get rid of the wicked property tax, win with the UNC. Win with us. Win with the UNC. Because why? When the UNC wins, everybody wins. Because I tell you, if Stuart and the PNM win, you and your children lose. If Rowley and Stuart win, Stuart will continue to bully the citizens. Thank you very much. I love you too. Thank you for the support. Give him a round of applause. Thank you. Thank you. Because Rowley and Stuart will continue, as I say, to bully you. And Stuart will do what? Because he's bolted to the chest of Rowley. He's the Gary Sobers of Rowley. And therefore, Stuart will make sure that the rich gets richer and you continue to lose. $4 billion of your taxpayers' dollars went where? $4 billion went to his brother's company. You remember that? $4 billion. But what did you get? 4%. 4%. And then Stuart Young now wants to protect women. But you heard the speakers before me. Stuart gone and you see all these beautiful women in all these PNM Women's Day functions, and he wants to score points. He come there to do what? Score points. A hypocrite. He had 10 years to protect women. Did he protect the women of this nation? 10 years. 5,000 people have been murdered under their watch, Stuart and Rowley. 5,000 persons murdered. And remember, he was the Minister of National Security. Why did he not protect the women, the children, and the families? Those 5,000 families. Why? So when you come now young to promise you're going to protect women, nobody believing you that. Nobody is believing Stuart Young. He did not protect anyone for 10 years. You know why? Because he was too busy. He was too busy, hear it? He was too busy recusing himself from cabinet over 101 times because of a conflict of interest or benefits to his friends and family. So he didn't have time for you. He was there 101 times, leaving the cabinet, recusing himself, while that cabinet, his friends sitting there, made decisions to benefit friends and family. I say if they win, heaven forbid, you lose your pension. If they win, you lose your property. If they win, Imbert gets away with the $3.5 billion. If they win, the country loses that money. If they win, you lose jobs. I see OW2 here. Let's big them up. Thank you. They know about job losses. They know about job losses under this wicked regime. Stuart Young was there, ring and finger with Rowley all the way. So Rowley, before you pack and run away, Stuart Young is bolted to your chest. And therefore, while you run away, Stuart Young will come back to do all the things you did and not do the things that you ever did for the people of the land. So if you Rowley wins, if Stuart Young wins, you lose your jobs. If they win, businesses lose. If they win, Tobago loses. If they win, you could lose your life. And if they win, you and our country will lose another 5 wasted, destructive years. So do not allow them to make you lose out for another 5 years. We are coming now to this weekend or this week or maybe later tonight because they have some big meeting going on tonight. We are coming to the coronation and the anointment of Stuart Young. After PNM members loyally supported Rowley for over 40 years, he has betrayed them with ingratitude, and he took away their democratic right to select a leader of their choice for their party. Young is 100% a puppet of the 1%. He's been anointed to make the rich richer and to make PNM and everybody else poorer. And tonight I want to tell you, without going into too much detail with legalese, we come to the Bible, the supreme law of Trinidad and Tobago. Dissolve Parliament, Rowley. You cannot get your anointed Gary Sobers, young one, in that office, and I'll tell you why very quickly. And I'm warning you, should you proceed in this manner, recklessly, Rowley, you, Stuart Young, and the President will face the brilliant UNC lawyers in the courthouse of Trinidad and Tobago. So you cannot proceed under Section 76(1) of the Constitution, where there is occasion to appoint a Prime Minister President shall appoint a member of the House who is the leader of the House. So Rowley want to go, but want to keep one foot in the door. He says he resigned as Prime Minister, but he's staying as party leader. But Rowley, not 76-1. The word leader is spelled with a capital L. Capital L. When the Constitution was changed, they changed it from leader with a common L to capital L. And that can only be the leader of the party in the House, which is Rowley. And then 76B, you cannot proceed, Rowley, under 76A. You can't go over 76B either, because that says where it appears to the President, the party does not have an undisputed leader. As long as Rowley holds on to the leadership, there is an undisputed leader. So they cannot proceed under 76(1), A or B. So one thing and two things must happen. First, Rowley will have to resign both as Prime Minister and as party leader. Both. And the question
That's right. That is what we were saying. That is what we were saying. Well done.
Ministership, but that is for another day. I'll deal with you. So they cannot proceed under 76(1)A and B. But you know where they could go? And Rowley are giving you some free advice here tonight. If you really want to appoint and anoint Stuart Young, give up both Prime Minister and give up also the party leadership and pack your bags and go. Pack your bags and go. And therefore, you cannot operate there. And I warn you, Rowley, should you and your puppet president attempt to action 76(1)A and B, you will meet the brilliant UNC lawyers in the courthouse. But all is not lost. Rowley, if you really, really want to do this, you have another option. You have 76(4). And 76(4) says, where there is an occasion to appoint a Prime Minister, you can do it while the Parliament is dissolved.
That's right. Call him last election. That's what we're talking about. Call the election.
Prime Minister.
That's the third option.
So one, you had to give up both and then put your anointed Gary Sobers. Or you go under 76(4), and what it means, you will have to dissolve the Parliament
That's
first.
right.
And if you dissolve the Parliament, you have 3 months. You must name the date within 3 months of the dissolution of the Parliament. So dissolve the Parliament, call the election, but then you dissolve. How does the President decide who to put? So you have another section here, which is section 803, which tells us under 76(1)A and B, the President has no discretion to appoint a Prime Minister. The President has to act in accordance with what is set out in A, that is appoint the leader, or B, where there's no undisputed leader, then consult with the MPs, okay? When you come to dissolving the Parliament, then the President has what is known as a discretion. What discretion means? She could fall in love with Stuart Young and say, I choose Stuart Young. From amongst all the ministers, she say, I like Stuart Young the best. She could call in the existing ministers and ask them who to put. Because the Constitution under section 83 makes it very clear that the President can appoint in her own discretion only under 76(4), where the Parliament is dissolved. So that's your challenge. Either you pack your bags and run away as both Prime Minister and party leader, in which case the MP's letter will kick in, or you dissolve the Parliament and an election be held within 3 months, and then use your puppet president to gloriously pick Stuart Young and say, he's the man. That can be done. So don't come and fool the people. You obviously did not think this through, and we will not let you pack your bags and run away so easily, because you will be operating outside of the law of Trinidad and Tobago. So I say, Mr. Rowley, avoid all of this. Just dissolve the parliament, call up Christine Kangaloo in President House, and say, hello, you know who is the man? The man is Stuart Young. And she can then, as I say in my own judgment, Stuart Young is the person to appoint as Prime Minister. That's the only way.
And 3 months afterwards, election time.
Resign, Prime Minister. Resign, party leader. That's one way. And then the MPs can sign, the ministers can sign. Okay? Or 76-4, dissolve, and let the president handpick the person that you want in Stuart Young. Well, listen, whichever way you do it, we know Stuart Young is going to get the licking of his life. Will be licks like fire and licks like peas. Whichever way you do it.
That's right.
And therefore, you are just postponing the inevitable. Time is running out, and fast running out. I want you to look at a video we'll put up there. There's a video coming up. And this is a video with our Prime Minister dancing with Maduro. And you know, he is the only head of state. He's the only leader of government dancing with Maduro in this conga line. No other head of state, no other Prime Minister is dancing with Maduro. And now he's talking about visa restrictions. First of all, he's saying there are some people in TNT who want visa restriction. What is the fun? You all enjoying the video? Is that what's happening? Well, this is the only head of government dancing in a Congo line with Maduro because everybody else has nothing to do with him. So listen, my friends. He's now talking about visa restrictions and sanctions. As I say, this is a man had Maduro with him and Stuart in this Congo line. I think that is the worst bend over we have ever seen in history. Rowley and Maduro is the worst bend over we have ever seen in history. Worst ever. Worst bend over. And then he says, you know what? Talks about these visa restrictions. He said there are people here, encouraging the US to take away all your visas. Rowley, where is the evidence? Who are these unnamed people encouraging people to take away visas? Who are these people? Where is the evidence? This is another distraction by Rowley because you see, everybody warned them. Everybody warned Rowley and crew. And now they're crying about sanctions and visa restrictions. Rowley and Stuart Young know the US government is coming for them and for PNM affiliates. They know it. They know it. So as Anil told us, he now talking about if he don't ever go back to California. Where that coming from, Rowley? You know something we don't know? You know they're coming for you, so you cannot go back to California? So he pretends he don't want to go back, but this is man at every drop of a pin, jumping plane and going off to the United States. Stuart Young went to Venezuela. Not once, not twice, 13 times. Stuart Young going, I tell you, the worst bend over in history. 13 times they went to Maduro in Venezuela. He and Rowley are the sole causes of any US sanctions on Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right, it's common sense. Common sense will let you know that. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to understand that. So they brought it onto themselves and then tried to blame or obfuscate or play victim of a cause that they initiated. Hold your tail.
Healthcare. Healthcare. The worst it has ever been in our history. from a man who is such a hypocrite, Rowley, that every time he sneezes, he jumps on a plane and flies off to the US for health care, but says he has the best health care in Trinidad and Tobago. You hear lie? You hear lie? You hear lie? That is lie. Then he sent his second legacy is in education. But look at the violence in our schools. Look at how many schools that were almost completed, that they have failed to now complete. Look at the state of bullying in our schools. They have understaffed the schools. They have sabotaged your educational opportunities. So Rowley, don't pretend that your best legacy is in healthcare, which is in shambles, and our education sector, which is also in shambles. It will take a UNC government to restore a working healthcare system and to bring back an education system for the benefit of all the people of Trinidad and Tobago. And before I leave Rowley, because the man talking whole morning, first he told us our problems were Likoto Jumbi, you remember that? Then they have some people going to Florida to talk to the dead. And now he tells us about telepathic power. Telepathic power to come and rescue TNPP.
He gone mad. That was happening. That's mad talk.
Mr. Rowley, all that has to happen is just go. Pack your bags and run away. Now is the time. Dissolve the parliament. Call the election. So talking about the U.S. again, we know the U.S. is one of our strongest trading partners. We know how much we depend in trade on the U.S. We know how many things that we have that friendship with the U.S. And guess what today? The U.S. State Department has updated their travel advisory system, identifying nations where there is heightened caution being urged on their citizens coming here. One of them is Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right.
Everybody knew this was coming except the Rowley government. Those idiots in our government, they made a big song and dance about making gun crimes acts of terrorism. Remember that was his first was what, a public health something, and now it is acts of terrorism. What did Rowley think would have happened when he stupidly broadcasted to the world that we have terrorists in Trinidad and Tobago committing crimes? What did he expect? And you know, the US, the radar goes up, the antenna goes up. When you hear terrorists, they're looking for terrorists everywhere in the world. And our own Prime Minister is saying we have terrorists committing crimes in Trinidad and Tobago. So don't blame me. Don't blame the UNC. Don't blame the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. Blame yourself and Stuart Young for the US sanctions. Blame yourselves. Any foreign country hearing about terrorists here, they will automatically issue greater precautions to their citizens. Tonight I want to tell you, moving to another point, I have to warn you, because sometimes we get chained up. We like people. We are good people. We like people. Everybody has a spark of the divine in them. We are all children of God. But sometimes Satan leads them astray. Sometimes. And therefore, I want you to remember this. When you go to vote in this election, which will be the mother of all elections for the soul of Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right. That's right.
Remember, any vote for the smaller parties, any vote for smaller parties being financed by the PNM, any such votes, you know what will happen? You will lose your pensions. You'll lose your public assistance. You'll lose your jobs. You will lose your property and property tax. You will lose your US visas. And therefore, you will get increased taxes, increased electricity and water rates, higher food and fuel prices, more traffic tickets, more property tax, more job cuts, more business closures, no forex, no salary increases, and a cashless society. In this election, you will only win when the UNC win. Everybody wins when the UNC wins. If you are against escalating crime wave, win with the UNC. If you are a government stifling your free speech and progress, win with the UNC. If you are against a government which refuses to increase your salary, but they increase in their own salaries, win with the UNC. If you are against poor health care, waiting for days to get a bed in the hospital, win with the UNC. And when the UNC wins, Trinidad and Tobago wins. When UNC wins, I want to tell you, businesses win. Businesses win with lower taxes, with investments in port operations, lower security costs, more forex, and a focus on growing micro, small, and medium enterprises. Businesses win with the UNC because we will establish a national commission on the banking and financial sector to make sure citizens are not exploited by the fees and interest rate spreads in the banking sector, and that financial institutions perform the essential development role of converting national savings into national investment. This same commission that we will establish, a national commission on banking and financial sector, will also work to ensure a fair distribution of forex. They will deregulate financial bureaucracy and make it easier for businesses to conduct their transactions. I say when the UNC wins, businesses win. But I say more, when the UNC wins, families win. Now let me tell you how. Families win. Families win with no property taxes. Families win with lower food prices. Families win with no hikes in electricity and water rates. You will have more money in your pockets to spend to uplift your families. Families will win when we give them legal firearms to defend their homes and their loved ones. I say when the UNC wins, businesses win, families win. And I say more, when UNC wins, your children win. Your children win. Your children will win with a full complement of required teachers, deans of discipline, security officers, school safety officers, and police officers in schools to protect your children. You will not have to worry your child is being bullied every day at school. We will send the TTPS full-time into our schools to stop children being terrorized and mentally damaged by bullies in our schools. Too many children are going into depression. They live in daily fear. I will protect your children. They win with guidance counselors, school social workers, clinical psychologists, and doctors looking after our students to stop depression, anxiety, and suicides in our children. Our children will win with the UNC, with laptops, textbooks, expanded gate, and scholarships. Remember, they shut the gate. Remember, they shut down the laptop program. Remember, they stopped the free textbook program. They have cut down on the number of scholarships. Win with the UNC, and your children will win with the UNC. And of course, our children will win when we open that beautiful Debe UWI campus right here in the Southland. Right here. Right here. So I said communities, families, children, workers. When UNC wins, senior citizens also win. Because we will protect the pensions of senior citizens. Remember I told you about that bill, huh? Anybody here remembers? You know that bill is still
25,000 threshold,
Remember they said
and
they
you
were
cannot
withdrawing
get,
it?
of course,
It is still there. You know what they're
access
waiting
to
for?
the pension.
They feel all your dotation foolish. You'll vote back for them, and that will be one of the first bills they will come to pass in the parliament.
That's right,
So
that's
protect your
right.
pensions.
Can't trust
protect
them.
your public assistance. Vote with the UNC. Win with the UNC. We will ensure that our senior citizens have continued access to CDAP. CDAP. They've cut that program so much. And then they have their friends in a cabal. I'll talk to you about another day because I have the data of all the big boys in their cabal. The big businesses who are supplying the medications to our hospitals. So, you're not getting the CDAP. They've cut it down. They will not review the formulary, which is a book for which drugs to bring in. I know Jags has spoken about that before, about that cabal. They will not review the formulary. So we have outdated medications on that book. And of course, why? Because they belong to friends and financiers and suppliers of specific medications, which we can change. Any doctor will tell you that. We have to change. The world has moved on. There are more modern medications, cheaper medications. And the senior citizens will win because we will set up a system of having doctors visit senior citizens in their homes, in their district health. I come back when UNC wins, communities win. Communities win with the return of the community comfort patrols. Remember they shut that down too. We will work with you to establish gated communities to protect you and your families. Your community will win. We will provide communities with 24-hour health centers. We did it before. We can do it again. We did it before. 24-hour health centers, lighted playgrounds. Anna spoke about the playgrounds and so on. And investments in community organizations and clubs. And you know what? Stuart Young talking about the leader of the opposition, talking about the baby grant, and I'm so reckless and I'll bankrupt people to give a baby grant. But Stuart Young, you and your family bankrupting the people by recusing yourself with all the contracts they're getting. Imagine this man fighting down a little baby grant. Well, UNC, I'm proud we will bring back the baby grant to take care of our children. We'll bring it back. We will bring it back. When UNC wins, healthcare wins. Healthcare wins with the construction, equipping, of operationalizing of the catheter, well, the cath labs I call them, in all major hospitals, which means San Fernando, Arima, Grande. San Fernando has no cath lab. We had started to work with Dr. Bodo to have that cath lab. The PNM doesn't care. Their world begins and ends in Port of Spain. Scarborough, Rowdy, you call yourself a Tobago man. They have a cath lab, which we built when we completed the Scarborough Hospital. But they have no interventional doctor who can use the cath lab. We will fix that. Cath labs, you may say, what is this technical word, cath lab? You know what the cath labs are? I see Dr. Rishi smiling here with me. He knows what I mean. Any doctor here would know what happens, what is a cath lab. That would help cardiac stenting within minutes of arrival at a hospital on a 24-hour basis. So it will enable a nationwide 90-minute policy of heart attack to stenting. Within 90 minutes, there is a cath lab. So you get a little chest pain and heart attack, and you take it to San Fernando. You know what happened? You're dead before you reach in town somewhere. You're dead. We will set up these cath labs in all our major hospitals, so we could do the stenting. 90 minutes of your arrival to have the stenting take place. With the relevant staff, you will win with the construction and equipping of dialysis clinics. You know how many persons in our country suffer from kidney failure and have to get dialysis? How many? I see my friend Kyle Nobbin is right there. True. Many, especially our senior citizens and not so senior citizens, because diabetes is a serious issue in our country. Dialysis centers, we will construct, equip at the major hospitals to have a 24-hour dialysis program. And if we have to pay for dialysis with private providers, we would pay, but only for emergency cases, because we'll have a 24-hour system in our hospitals. And therefore, you will win also. We will create a unique medical malpractice court and special investigated unit, aided by foreign experts to handle suspected medical malpractice cases. We will set up a medical malpractice unit in Trinidad and Tobago. We will not stop there, because right now the malpractice is there, many good doctors, but you should not pay for any malpractice that takes place. So in addition to that unit, we will also establish a no-fault compensation fund. No-fault compensation fund. So that affected citizens can receive some relief outside of the courts. Even if you cannot get the evidence to prove the malpractice, we will set up a no-fault compensation fund for you. We left the Couva Hospital fully equipped, and that P&M wicked never opened it. They removed all the equipment when they came into office. And therefore, when they moved that, all the warranties were voided. The calibrations went askew. Millions of dollars in equipment gone to waste by this wicked P&M government. I want you to rest assured that when the UNC wins, we will open the Couva Hospital fully equipped. Fully equipped. Are we not stopping there? When UNC wins, the local energy sector companies will also win. The MSMEs in the energy sector will win, because we will form and have operating a new body to represent local energy service companies and contractors. Right now you have one unit. What is it called, Mr. Jackman? That energy local chapter here. And at the moment, everybody locally, you have to go through that energy chamber in Trinidad and Tobago. We are saying we will establish a new body to represent local energy service companies and contractors. All locally owned MSMEs in the energy sector will be able to join and use this body to make representations directly to the Minister of Energy and to the Prime Minister. And therefore, they will not have to go through this organization known as the Energy Chamber of Trinidad and Tobago. I pledge today that the UNC will work to reopen the Petrotrin refinery in Pointe-a-Pierre.
Good.
To secure fuel security.
Energy security.
And to what? Bring down fuel prices. Again, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. When we win, no one will be left behind. When we win, we all move forward together. When we win, you win, and everybody wins. Okay, I still have some points. You all still want to hear some more?
Yes, man. Bring it on.
Some of you, some might want to.
We are anticipate elections
hold
tomorrow. Having, of course,
I hope Michelle has some doubles
massage
here,
the bumpsy of these nincompoops whose bottom are now palpitating because, of course, they are now in a state of total and absolute limbo.
Now, if the PNM wins, if Rowley Stewart wins, you know they're a tag team, huh? They're the same size, they're the same side of the coin. Not opposite, the same side. If they win, you will continue to lose. When they win, you lose. Remember, you lost laptops. You lost scholarships. You lost free textbooks. They cut school feeding. They cut school transport. Workers lost 10%. When they cut the offer made by me and the UNC in 2014, it was 14% to the workers. Remember that. Remember, they cut it down for 4%. 4%. They say, who do here will have to feel. Well, you felt it. We promised you and we agreed to the 14%. 10 years later, all they have offered the workers is that measly 4%. You lost 5,000 jobs in 10 years. We lost 5,000 lives through murder. We lost another 5,000 lives in the COVID period. Mismanagement. And you lost $3 billion because the PNM stole that money. They refused to let the Auditor General access the books when she raised a red flag about the missing money, billions of dollars. You have lost 20% of GDP since they came in 2015. Our economy has contracted by $30 billion in the last 10 years of the PNM. Half our foreign reserves, which are down by about $6 billion, we've lost half of the foreign reserve we left there when we came out of office. It's gone down now to $6 billion. We left them over $11 billion in foreign reserves. Question, where the money gone? Anil, where the money gone? Because they have nothing to show for it. You lost $600 billion in 10 years because they have nothing to show for it. I ask you, others mention it here tonight, don't get chained up. They're opening, what is it? Well, they didn't even call it an opening, they call it a practical opening. What is a practical opening? I think Anil explained some of it for us.
They have
Today,
gone
big
mad.
Drama. How much money spent, Anil?
$1 million
Almost $1 million.
is it cost.
Almost $1 million to open a practical opening of the
the opening itself, of course, the ceremony. Yeah. Like, of course, the
I want to ask them,
symposium on crime.
When will the first patient be admitted to that hospital? When? Is there any equipment inside that hospital? You opened the construction site, the UNC, when we opened the Coover Hospital, was fully equipped and ready to go. Ready to go. There you are. Practical opening, all because Rowley has achieved nothing. He has no achievements. He just wants to get a stone plaque to put up on our wall to say Rowley practically open. Practically open. Practically open the central block. You're going to check what practical means, please. I have to take you back to science class, I think, when you had practicals and you doctors had practicals and so on. And they also want to do a practical opening of what? The airport. A practical, why? You see, since
You're lucky they tell you a
we
virtual.
named that airport the A.N.R. Robinson Airport, Rowley can't eat. He can't sleep. He wants his name again. He wants a stone plaque in that airport. But I ask him again, what is a practical opening? When will the first passenger land in that airport? It will take a UNC government to get that airport up and running. And it will take a UNC government to get that central block not practically open, but fully open for the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right.
Remember, you lost access to Forex. You got your credit card limits cut. Remember that? And when you go to the bank, you can't get none. If you're lucky, you might get $100, I'm told. You lost all independent institutions. Everyone has been corrupted by interference from Rowley and Stuart Young. Don't say Rowley gone, you know. He did, the man is day and night, you know. They are bolted to each other. Young is bolted to the chest of Rowley. He is the spawn of Keith Christopher Rowley. Remember that. You lost low fuel prices. You lost low water and electricity rates. And I tell you, if you can't pay your property tax, you may soon lose your property. I want to remind you, when they came to the parliament, we fought against it. And they gave the Minister of Finance the power to increase that tax to up to 9%. They say they had it at what? And they bring it down to 1. They have given the minister the power to raise that property tax by 9% without coming back to the parliament. So he can come like a thief in the night, and next morning they send you a letter for 9% more in the property tax. You lost $250 million, you know in what? In rents to Faris family. Remember that? You lost more. You lost more. $250 million in rent to Faris's family and friends. You have lost $4 billion in financial contracts to Stuart Young's brother's company. You have lost hundreds of millions in contracts to companies associated with the wives of ministers of the Rowley government. You have lost millions as they provide police security to ministers and their families as well. But your loved ones are slaughtered brutally every day. So I say, should you take God out of your thoughts and vote the PNM, then there'll be only more pain, suffering, horror, and terror to come. And before I go, and I'm telling you, I'm not packing my bags at all. I'll be here with you. I will stay with you, and we will stay with you. And we will take you back into government. We will take you back into government. And when that time comes, the party will choose its own leader. Will not be me. Will not be one of us. That day will come, but it is not today. My job now is to take you and our great party into government. And will you stand with the UNC to go back into government? I want to talk and remind you, some people in this country more equal than others. Look at those pictures. Can we put them up, please? Some photos. Are the photos up? Yes? So some are more equal than others. You know who is in that photograph? That's real, you know. I didn't make that. Is not AI. That is real. You lose because they take and take from you and your children all the time. In this country, some are more equal than others. How many young, innocent people have been kidnapped and found dead or never found at all? But for a particular young minister, his stepdaughter was found within hours of being kidnapped. You all remember that? Within hours, kidnapped, stepdaughter was found. How many young people rot behind bars for petty crimes and for first-time offenses? But for a particular young minister, his stepdaughter is free from serious drug and ammunition charges traveling the world. What is the status of young stepdaughter of that case? You know, they plaster the faces of everyone else on the front pages for minor offenses, but there is stone silence with respect to this case. What are her bail conditions? Ordinary people with small petty offense and so on, Jack Davis, the criminal law and criminal law, will tell you they have to go down to the police station and sign a copybook. How often, Jags? Huh? I didn't hear you. Once a week. All you ever see is your young stepdaughter going to police station to sign any copybook, to say I'm still here. Never. Some people are more equal than others. What are her bail conditions? Somebody told me and I asked them. They say she has no bail conditions. Serious offenses, no bail conditions, one of which is to report to the station ever so often. One of which Jax told me earlier, every 28 days you have to appear in a court of law. None of that is happening. None of that. And this is a man who wants to protect women. Well, the only woman he's protecting is his own stepdaughter. And not the mothers and the children and the daughters and sisters of the people of Trinidad and Tobago. Apparently with Young and the PNM, the rules are not the same for everyone. I'm telling you, don't give this young minister the power to make the wrong choices. You heard him recently, he wants to ban social media. Ban social media. You know what that is? He's after your freedom of speech. He's after free speech. They want to stifle your voices. We must not let that happen. Our track record shows we stand for law and order. Don't let the majority of people suffer while a chosen few win. Don't get fooled by the promises and the propaganda. They want to package the same old story and call it young. But the rising sun will always bring light and always bring truth. Your choice. Your choice will determine whether you keep losing all the time. Do not let a puppet of the powerful determine your future. Don't let the eater food, the fake elites win, while you and your children lose and are left behind. You are now, I tell you, look at those pictures I'll put up which you are familiar with when you drive through Trinidad and Tobago. You have already lost 10 years. You have served a sentence of 10 years behind bars in your own homes. And the only people roaming free are whom? The criminals. Your homes are burglar-proof. You're in a cage. You are behind bars to protect yourselves and your family. 10 years you have lost. Let us not give them another 5 years to keep you behind bars. Think about it. You think every noise you hear at night is someone breaking in. You're in fear in a mall or grocery car. Please continue with the full speech. I thought they were sending me please stop. Shall I continue, please? Thank you. Here we are. So when you're lying in your bed and you hear a noise, Jamal, what happened? You're frightened. Wife, children, yourself. That is your reality. You're in fear in the mall or in the grocery, in the car park. That is your reality for 10 years. You're prisoners in your own minds, existing, hoping not to be a victim. But you're trapped in this cold reality that tomorrow it could be you or your loved one being blown to bits. You're existing in a system which barely leaves you feeling alive. And this has been created by the P&M elites. You are prisoners living in a cage. And you paid for that cage with, guess what? Your blood, sweat, and tears. Look at your houses. They look like cages, not homes. Your homes have more bars. No bars on the windows and the doors than Golden Grove Prison. That is the prison, the cage you're living in. And now I want to show you some pictures. Crime and violent murders. I want to share that with you. I have to share that with you. This government has selected the right brand color for themselves. And they are not even conscious of it. It is incredible how the unconscious works and how hard and herd mentality follows. All of them dressed in the color of blood, covered from head to toe, mimicking the country's state. Unconsciously, they costume in blood as their brand color. Their color is not that of a national flag. Don't get fooled. This government's color is the color of blood, red blood. When you see them campaigning, you see blood flowing down the street towards you. You see blood all over the streets in your communities. This government is synonymous with blood. The new $150 million Balaji House is built with blood money and painted with the blood of slaughtered citizens, painted red.
Yes, man, yes, man, yes, man.
For the past 10 years,
Wicked, nasty, evil,
all you
diabolical.
see and smell is blood all over our
monstrosity.
country. Over 5,000 murdered.
Blood money.
That is not the color of campaigners for a good country. That red is the color of pain. That red is the color of suffering. That red is the color of horror and terror. Blood red, that is the color of death, depth, danger, and destruction. When you see this wave of blood red approaching your homes, you'll start counting triple murders, drunk divers, double murders, rapes, home invasions, stabbings, school violence, dead babies, mental pain and loss. So anytime you see that red brigade coming down the street, remember what it stands for: death and destruction.
Blood.
When you see them coming like blood running down the street, you start counting the many ways they make their blood money. You see on their faces intentions to thief your pension, to thief your public assistance,
And to thief the blasted
to thief
election.
your property, and their intention to thief your inheritance with inheritance tax. Don't forget. You will see people who thief your birthright. Petrotrin was your birthright. They thief it. Now they want to give it to some dubious company, but we'll deal with that. They want to thief your free speech. They want to thief your education. You will see the architecture of thieving throughout the procurement paradigm. You will see persecution of public servants who stood up to them to stop them. And I ask you now, when you see them in blood red campaigning, dressed in the color, pain, terror, and horror, remember there are 5,000 mothers in this country bawling for their lost children who have been murdered. Remember the 5,000 dead from COVID. Remember the tens of thousands died because of poor health care. Close your gates. Close your windows. Close your minds, and most of all, wrap up your soul when you see that blood red brigade coming down for you. They bled you and bled you for 10 long years. There's only one way to stop the bleeding and secure your future and your children's future. Just remember, when the UNC wins, everybody wins. And people,
Yes, man. Yes, indeed.
some people are asking, why is the UNC using blue and yellow? So I've shared with you the symbolism of the PNM Red Blood campaign. Let me share with you the UNC's blue and yellow campaign. Yellow and blue. They are colors of hope. They are colors of life. They are colors of happiness. What is more beautiful and nourishing than the warmth of the rising sun? What is more nourishing than the warmth of the rising sun? When you see the yellow and blue coming down your street, you see God's yellow sun rising above the warm blue ocean. And what a beautiful sight and feeling you will have. Everybody here has seen the sunrise over the ocean. Everyone. And we know what wonderful, peaceful feelings overcomes us. Yellow, I say, is the color of warmth, of happiness. And blue is the color of peace, law, and order. And blue, they taught us, blue, God loves you. Blue, God loves you. Red is blood. Red is chaos. Red is danger. The yellow of the UNC strives to nurture a society where there's opportunity for advancement for everyone based on merit, ability, competence, and intelligence. That is why so many came forward to offer themselves for screening. Tonight I want you to put your hands together for all the persons who filed nomination papers for the UNC. But as the Bible tells us, many are called, few are chosen. In the case of seats, there are only 39. So many are called, but only one will be chosen. We have had over 200 persons submit forms for the 39 seats. Again, I ask you, give them a round of applause and thank them.
Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed.
You will remember and tell it to them. The UNC is the only party that has had a democratic internal elections. We are the only party in Trinidad and Tobago that had a democratic election to set and put in place a national executive.
And of course,
some of these
earlier a
proper
leader.
parties don't even have an executive. They are one-man show who anointed themselves as leader with a bunch of merry men, their followers. It shows that the UNC, for us, democracy is alive and well. That is only in the UNC, not in any other party. The UNC, as I said, can only choose one candidate for each seat. We can only submit one candidate for each of the 39 seats. If it were up to me, everyone who puts in the work and wants to serve can serve, will be allowed. Because when the UNC wins, I want to remind you, everyone will win. So, if you're not chosen for the seat, there's a space and a place for everyone when the UNC wins. When the UNC wins, everybody wins. But only 39 can be chosen here in Trinidad. The UNC family, I tell you, the race is not for the swiftest, but for those who can endure to the end. The race is not for the swiftest.
Certainly, words of wisdom, lady.
So
words of wisdom.
Don't get chained up. Don't get worried. They say UNC choose 11 candidates. It's not how many candidates are chosen. No date has been named. I give you the assurance all 39 will be named in time to fight the election. So it's not the numbers who have been named. It is the quality and the caliber of the persons who will be selected to fight for a seat. There are a few, they want quick results. There are a few who want to skip the line. There are a few who think that if they are not selected, then nobody else should get it, mash it up. You remember when you used to play marbles? You remember? I used to play marble, by the way. I was a very good marble player. And when you're losing, what happened? You pick up all the marbles and you go home. Well, this is not a game. This is serious business for the people and the government of Trinidad and Tobago.
That's right. That's
so let us stay focused. Let us stay focused and stay together, united. And there is, I give you the assurance, there will be a space and a place for everyone when the UNC wins. You will see another picture coming up. There are few who are for themselves, greedy, power thirsty, hungry. There are also one or two who have sold out the UNC for promises of 30 pieces of silver, like Judas. Remember Obika? When last you hear this man or see him? When last? Remember Gidari? When last you see or hear him? Remember Sudial? Last local, where are they now? Nowhere. Nowhere. Remember the $500,000 check printed on that front page of the Express? That was the Judas money paid to one of them who crossed the floor to the P&M. But I hope all Judases will remember what was the fate of Judas of Iscariot. That at the end of the day,
Judas
he
Iscariot,
took
man.
his own life.
Judas Iscariot.
After he betrayed,
So distraught was
he
he.
betrayed the Lord Jesus,
That's right. Can't
that
do them
30
thing and
pieces
get
of
away.
silver could not sustain him.
Punishment
remember
is
that.
assured.
Keep your faith anchored in your support for our great party.
Yes, indeed.
I want you to remember there are the few who are sat amongst us. They felt they were better than you. They felt they were above you because they put themselves first above everything else. I am always amazed when they curse the same UNC membership. They want to lead. They curse you when they don't get their own way, but you are the same UNC members. They pretend that they want to lead. They don't want to lead, they just want themselves. Just about themselves. That is the way, but that is their way, not the UNC way. Our mantra has always been and will continue to be, serve the people. Serve the people, not self. Serve the people. Love the people. Love the people. Uplift the people. Because when the UNC wins, everybody wins. And finally, as I close, while we at UNC, many of us, we are fighting for your families. We are fighting for communities. We are fighting for our country. They are fighting for what? Their own selfish agendas. When they can't get their way, some of them will end up on the other side, fooled, crushed like the ones who came before them. Some of them, as I say, end up on the other side. They'll turn around and seek to destroy your family. They'll turn around and seek to destroy your UNC family. We have fought so tirelessly to nurture and to grow and to build. The UNC, I tell you, is the only thing standing between the P&M government's oppression and the freedom and rights of our citizens. You may not know, but we've been running independent polling, and I want to tell you today, to put some fire in your belly and steel in your backbone. Because the UNC is polling very strongly. And I am confident we will win the next general elections.
No doubt, no doubt, no doubt.
Our UNC family is the only political party to survive the P&M and beat the P&M. And we are still standing together, UNC and proud to beat the PNM again. Over 300,000 supporters strong, standing for the UNC. The detractors, they tried everything they could think about to mash us up, but yet we stand. They lied and they lied and they lied, but yet we stand. They said we were not good enough and would never make it, and yet we stand. And we will keep standing because we stand on solid ground. We stand on that solid rock. We stand united together, and all other ground is sinking sand everywhere else. We have been faithfully laboring in the vineyard for our country. You have. You proud UNC supporters. You have been faithfully laboring in the vineyard for the people of our land. And so today, we await that day of victory, where we all hear a voice saying, "Well done, ye good and faithful servants. Victory is yours." So in this assignment, in this election, we declare, Pastor, we declare, no weapon formed against us. No weapon formed against us shall prosper. No weapon. So let me hear your voices. UNC, UNCN, UNCN, UNC, and proud.
Magnificent, magnificent.
When UNC wins, everybody wins. God bless you. And I thank you very much. I thank you.
Yes indeed, of course that was a scintillating, it was saturated with information, and of course to receive wall-to-wall information indeed, and of course a very hype, a very effervescent, a very dynamic, a very of course expectant UNC, a wonderful crowd. Sorry I wasn't there, but of course in the fullness of time I will be, and your of course program will also be there too to cover live at whatever venue it is. But in the meantime, of course, let's see, of course, because the objective is that the PNM and Rowley must go. Yes, indeed, people, of course. I'll take your calls. And those of you who are still up, I know that this has been a very attentive one that, of course, requires serious matters. And, of course, if you have to take away something from this address, is that this is serious business. And the UNC is serious. And they intend, of course, to do all that is required to not just win the elections, but to manage Trinidad and Tobago to the point where we all can feel comfortable and, of course, hopeful and expectant. Because when UNC wins, everybody wins. Yes, indeed. Yes, hold on, caller. Yes, indeed. Yes, indeed. Of course, a pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor. Of course, you would have heard Kamala Prasad, Mr. I think, a very, what I consider to be information-packed, information-saturated address, of course, of extreme optimism and motivation. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night, Lennox Smith.
Yes, good night to you.
Granny is with all you. Granny waking and everything. God bless you.
Yes, man.
God bless you, man. You how we living.
Yes, man. Yes, we have to do it. We have to do it.
Everything, man. How we would know what's going on if you didn't have that program.
Great. Yes, man. We thought we should carry it live because I know that it a lot of information we would have gotten. And I wanted to know more about her position with. Yeah. Thank you very much. All right. Thank you very much. Of course, the lines are open. We'll take some calls before, of course, it is what, just about 6 more minutes to 10 o'clock. We'll go a little late if necessary because I want to give people an opportunity, of course, to express and to make your commentary as to what just transpired on the platform of course, in no other place but Moruga. That is not by accident. I want to tell you that. But go ahead. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
A pleasant good night, Lennox.
Pleasant good night to you as well.
Excellent.
Yes, man.
Excellent, man.
Yes.
This is what it is we're waiting for. And this is what the people have to see and know that this is what they need and this is what we have to do. You're getting it on a platter, as you would say. It's either you eat it or you leave it alone.
Yes,
and
man.
I think I go eat. I eat in. So this is what it is we hoping for. We seeing it, we getting it. And the only thing now is for the final nail on the coffin, as they say, is the people of Laventille to do the right thing and to get into the history of Trinidad and Tobago, being UNC being the next leader of
yes, man.
our
Well,
position.
you know, they say
all right.
They say I'm a bush lawyer or I have goat mouth or something like that. But you heard, of course, what she said about this, what I consider to be eccentric attempt by Rowley to force a prime minister onto the people without him leaving the office of leader of the party. That can't work, and I told you all that. Yeah,
it can't work. He didn't know what to do now.
He has his grass now. He has to call election. That's all the option is.
Yeah, all them jokey lawyers and them that they have, they must be looking for loophole to find out how they could do this.
And
now.
she has covered all the loophole and even advised them as well. So the only loophole they have is to let them call elections, and of course then whosoever it is could appoint an interim government until, of course, or a caretaker government until, of course, or a caretaker prime minister, I should say, until, of course, the 3 months that is required legally to hold the elections. Yes.
It's beautiful. It's a beautiful day today.
Yeah, man, beautiful day today, man.
All
A
right,
beautiful day
listen,
today. Yes, man.
Listening, locked on.
Okay, then, yes, man. Of course, quite a number of calls coming in. Pleasant good night. We'll go calls like peas. Calls like peas. Pleasant good night. Welcome. See, people were only waiting for the floodgates to open with the closure of that wonderful, magnificent, superlative speech by Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the leader of the UNC and head of the coalition of interest. Pleasant good night. Yes, man. That's right. and of course, exhibiting and projecting FOPA after FOPA after FOPA because he ain't committed to writing. So what he said today, he forget, and tomorrow he says something different about the same thing. So it's all right. I prefer consistency rather than the convolutions that has represented the speech presentations of all of those ministers who pretended they're bright when in fact they are dull, like, as my mother would say, like the back of a spoon. Go ahead.
Yeah, and you know, Lennox, she and I mean, why would I have a problem with that for? Like, how, we don't want to feel like Crowley. Now, today we hearing him talking about, oh God, Lennox, I feel shame for him tonight how she insulted him about the placard and everything else.
Yeah.
But here now,
Imagine half a
Lennox,
building,
bet your butt.
2 floors, you going and open, and you are no shame. You know, he forget that he talked about a completed hospital with equipment as a construction site. He loved that term. You know, it's only construction site after construction site. He opened it now. But this man is the epitome of not just dotishness, but bold-facedness, and they have no damn shame. Yeah.
The same thing that he criticized Mrs. Wasabi Sessa for the Cuba Children's Hospital, the fire station and all of that. It's the same thing this man turned around and do.
But much more vivid.
Hospital was already well equipped.
Yeah, but much more vivid, much more ridiculous. You know, nothing different to when he claimed about the diplomatic center and some plumbing and the use of the swimming pool. Nothing different. Yeah. He buys a total backside and a half. Yeah. No shame.
I feel a shower, your daughter and I had to put you out in the diplomatic center. Anyway, Lennox, let me tell you something. I'm going to predict Rowdy campaign trail strategy. He's going to go on the campaign trail with somebody here, tell them to revoke their visa.
Well, boy, the man, and the man so stupid, believing he's smart and he know English more than the rest of us. He tried to tell us when there is visa refusal abundance, when of course the dragon gas can no longer be pursued, you go read about it and somebody go, but the important thing, you go read about it. Tell us what it is. But he wants you to read about it. That's how stupid this man is, believing that he's smart. Yeah.
And that and riding the back of Eric Williams is going to be their campaign strategy.
That's right. Caller, just hold on.
Take that to the bank,
caller on the other
because
line.
they have nothing to come to the people with.
Yes.
Nothing. Lennox, I know it's late, so you take care and have a good night.
Yes. People are just calling in by the grooves. Pleasant good night. I think Mr. St. James here. Go ahead, Mr. St. James.
Good night, Mr. Smith.
Yes.
Quite a fantastic
phantasmagorical presentation. Yes. Superlative galore.
Imagine only in Trinidad.
Caller, just hold on. I have another person on the system line.
The sun could rise at night in Trinidad.
Yes.
Just imagine that.
So yeah.
Free, that's free legal advice given to them.
I could imagine them going into a whole quandary. I don't know if it will still have a convention on Sunday, because the convention was intended clearly to not only show that they have coalesced and that they have come to the acceptance of the hand-down by Rowley, but of course that piece of advice tonight certainly scuttles all of that. I think they must now be contemplating a date for the elections. Force that upon Rowley at this stage, because he has no choice now.
But the PLM law reminds me of the three sisters from Macbeth, the witches who had one eye among them.
Yes.
And they had to fight for it. You remember that?
Yes, of course. And to fear his foul and fear is foul and foul is fear that they
And among
introduced,
them,
of
they
course,
had
yes,
one
yes.
eye,
Yes, one eye, yes, that's right, yes, yes, yes.
and they would constantly fight for it.
Yes, indeed. But of course, I want to add to that of course, we only remind me of Don Quixote too. He sees a windmill and tells himself is a wicked monster and decides to fight it. And of course, you see what has happened to him.
And his mini-me, who we like to call the ass in the lion's skin.
Yes, yes, he has the lion skin. I would adopt that characterization because I think it is so appropriate. The man is a total buffoon. He has learned nothing,
It is.
but believe that he could be just foist upon the people and get a salary and, of course, a pension equal to a prime minister, not just Rowley. Rowley himself, of course, is not adequate or does not deserve that. So I will not say or compare with Rowley. I will say that the office itself, to believe that you could get such an accreditation, I think is bizarre and is really and truly a travesty.
So clearly he has earned that name. All right. So let me allow other callers. To
Yes,
take-
yes, man. Thank very much for your call. Yes, Lavatil, go ahead. A pleasant good night.
Yeah, good night, Mr. Lennox, and good night, everybody who's on your live. Good night, Trinidad and Tobago. Marco Rubio, boy, Rowley and Stuart Young Bamsey jumping like capping like a church service.
Yeah, and of course,
Boy,
Kamala
jumping
give them
the tail.
more to
Boy,
worry about
right now they're
because
scared.
their plan their plan may
the
not
country money, boy.
will
I
not
know that.
materialize, except of course the intervention of the president who would want to breach the law, but they are prepared, of course, to go to where it's necessary to enforce the law. Call the blasted election and done with that. When he held it about you staying on and you appointing someone and 11 of them or 21 of them, whosoever it is, doesn't matter at this point in time. They were forewarned and they have always lost to when Kamala Prasad Bisesa warned them. Whether it be, of course, the situation with respect to the local government elections and their illicit conduct, whether it be, of course, the Police Service Commission, and of course the almost completion of the impeachment of a sitting president for the first time in this country. All of it doing in the interest of the people of Trinidad and Tobago and the adherence to the rule of law by Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC. Go ahead, my friend.
Well, all I can say before I go is Stuart Young forget that prime ministership, you know. You understand? It's bad, boy.
Yeah, all that walking he walk for carnival. all that pan he tried to nimbly, maneuver in the Queen's Park Savannah, etc. All of that would have come to zero. I mean, they are just a bunch of what I consider to be consummate comedian. Really and truly, they are comedian. Yeah. Yes, man. Yeah. A bunch of comic. I mean, it is hilarious. Now, I'm sure they have been catapulted to a frenzy right now. Rowley can't sleep right now. I'm sure his telephone is ringing over and over because they don't know what the intent of the UNC is. They waited until the penultimate moment, the 12th hour overnight, and now the entire plan has now, of course, collapsed, just as the PNM has collapsed. Get the hell out of office, call the elections, and call that judge. What you holding on there for? You're cutting ribbon with, of course, half-picked duck projects, and you have the audacity and the temerity not to accept the fact that at one time it's projects like those that you are opening now you called a construction site, not that of the Couva Hospital, because a road leading to the hospital before the opening had partially collapsed. He say it's a project site, a construction site with all the equipment inside there, all the equipment. And what they did, they eviscerated, like of course the procurement legislation, they eviscerate it, they take it out because we have I don't get me vexed because we have the clip where the ass is saying it said that there should be only one one children's hospital, Wendy Fitzwilliam, and took out the equipment from that hospital and put it up at Mount Hope. You feel we don't know? All you feel we don't know, eh? All you feel we don't know, and all you feel we have short memory. No, we are going to teach Trinidad and Tobago to have long memory and have deep memories, and of course the ability to regurgitate when it is required at the appropriate time. Yes, indeed. Nobody could fool us again, especially this bunch of nincompoops. What the hell you're talking about? How the hell you could just say that? And of course, I made the ludicrous and the asinine and the very, what I consider to be jocular scenario where another person, based on Rowley and them logic, another person could say that, listen, them want to be prime minister, and Young could resign, and then the rest of them support a next one, and everybody could get a turn to be prime minister, and therefore a shot at the $87,000 a month, and of course the pension that is concomitant with that. Hello, let's tell all too damn stupid for big people. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Yes, man. Yes, Lennox, man. I sit on my TV there, I can't move.
Yo, you can move. Rowley too. Rowley can't move neither. Rowley can't move. Right now, he can't move. He defecated on himself right now.
But I stick by the TV there, boy. And they need to call ambulance for me to get out of here.
Yeah.
I want to ask a question here tonight. Laventille people, you hear what's going on tonight. Are you ready? Laventille people, are you ready? Senior citizens, you hear about your pension. You're going to be losing your pension if you put back PNM there. Are you ready? I want to ask you tonight, and also be fair with all yourself. If Camilla didn't raise that pension from what all you had from $2,000 to $3,500, what would that be on the position today? Don't lie to all yourself. What would that be on the position today? I am asking you all the senior citizens, regardless if you don't like UNC, vote for Camilla Prasad Visesa to make your life better again. And freedom will reign. Freedom will reign all over Trinidad and Tobago. Thank you. Good night.
Yes, man. Yes, man. Yes, man. And of course, I'm glad that you mentioned, of course, Laventille, because I had planned tonight to, of course, look at some of those philosophical and principle and value issues for motivational purposes. And I thought I should, of course, look at the whole question of why kindness makes people disrespected. Yeah. Why kindness, Laventille, make the PNM disrespect you? You know what I say? I say why it is that your commitment to the PNM, you saved them in 1986, and they have returned, of course, pain, ache, agony, disrespect, and of course, a total, what I consider to be abortment of the area, neglect, and devastation and disaster that has beset us physically, literally, and of course, and psychologically. Not like Rowley and they. Rowley and they had a abstract or a pragmatic opening. You're lucky. Why she was saying that they had a pragmatic or words to that effect, opening, a practical opening, because practical could also mean that it is not total, it is inchoate. But I want to be a little more ridiculous, and of course, making them know that they are asses. Because you're lucky they didn't say that they was making or having a virtual opening. You're lucky they say it's a virtual, because that is what transpired there. We're talking about practical or pragmatic opening. Hello, little. But of course, people, let's take a little more in, and then of course we will go to that lesson that I want to, of course, share with you tonight. for Laventil and especially.
Election day when you stay in your hand. It's for the UNC and the rising sun.
What time it is? What time it is? What time it is? Now is the time for action. What time it is? What time it is? What?
Oh, yes, indeed, of course. Yes, phone call after phone call. I can't get a chance, but that's how it is. A pleasant good night. Welcome to the corridor.
Lennox, good night, my brother. Good night.
Good night to you as well.
Anyway, I just want to make a kind of observation today.
Go ahead.
When how you call him? Rowley.
Yes.
When he come back and he make a good speech and say, yeah, this time, take your ice man and approach him. And tell him he had to book his tickets and get out, you know. I'm serious.
I tell you that. You tell me you have a practical opening, 2 floors, and tomorrow the same thing at the airport. Man, you're lucky. You're lucky they tell you they were having a virtual opening. They stand in front of the computer and take a scissors and just cut and say they open the damn whatever facility it is. The man has failed. He is blighted. He is brutally out of it. He cannot make, but he continues, of course, ad nauseumly to try to, of course, come in people's faces and generating more and more hate and hatred.
But something a little more off than usual, Lennox. You know what I mean? He a little bit more jumpy. Something telling me that something went down there when he went to California.
Yeah, he was a little more sedate.
Because remember,
a little more sedate.
All
characteristic.
All that is real fire going to happen here. You know,
Yeah.
Right? Because I find he a little bit more jumpier than usual. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And then when he talk about like,
yeah,
if you don't go back to the States, he don't care and things like that. Of
yeah,
course he
and the way we talk, he talk as if when he went there, if you're not smart, and I think he's speaking to, of course, the ignorables, because we are educating them now, to give the impression that somehow, in spite of what the Secretary of State say and what Trump said, that somehow they sign off. That Trinidad and Tobago lucky. You got that impression if you ain't following him carefully and you don't have a fair command of the English language. That man is a total, rapscallion boy. The man's a criminal.
Well, I feel Trump. Something tell me I know to Trump probably hear that. What Camille say about what Trump go do?
Yeah, that as well. The man. What he dance the bongo, whatever it is. That's the African thing, but the samba, but of course, but doing all that kind of nonsense and play the singing calypso and all that. That's a good friend. Trump and them won that, and of course, when Trump was out, if he has Short Young, all they was supporting the wrong team, and where are they now and all kind of thing. Today they can't remember that. They can't remember that at all. They get amnesia suddenly. Yeah.
Yeah, the big, the bad, the brave and everything, because they never thought because remember Biden was backing them. And
that's right, exactly. And that was a whole play for Rowley to get close to Biden. But when he went through the university and this fake doctorate that they gave him there, all of that was designed for that.
Half the time Biden's not even awake or aware what's going on.
Yeah, and the man done senile already.
But Biden didn't even know what he was there for anyways.
Yeah, you only falling down all over the place. But say what? You see, evil cannot prevail over good. And in the fullness of time,
what's going on? I tell you, because I tell you some other things. By the end of this week, you're going to see something come up.
Yeah, a lot of fireworks happening.
Anyway, blessings. I'll show you a real callers coming in and everything.
Yes. Waiting right now. I see one there. No. All right, thanks.
I just want to leave by saying this: Rowley is a pedophile and a rapist.
Blood blasted and say it hard, man, because he can't do nothing. Nobody, because the truth is the truth. A pleasant good night. Welcome.
A pleasant good night again.
Yes, man. Hey.
The last caller, they had the nail on the head. The body language when he come across is like if he running a race and all of a sudden he digs out and going in the jungle. When he reached out, he beat the cabinet members and asking them with the races. We ain't know we lost.
Yeah, the man discombobulated. He's a state of flummox. Yeah, I mean the man he disoriented.
As the last course.
Yeah, like he.
I mean, I do not predict.
Yeah, like he only have a skull with no brain. He's a zombie.
Yes, he's a headless chicken now because he just grab anything that comes to mind now. Is thing, and he wants to blame everybody now. He wants to.
Well, the next thing I expect is that his cabinet ministers will now begin to distance themselves from him because the die has been cast. I can't see how they could redeem themselves one way or another. It's best to just leave the country and go their way, and let me look for them by Interpol, etc.
It's looking like when it have pigeons eating and you're walking through. How did it just scatter and everybody just go in a different direction? That seems to be how them now because every man for himself now.
Yeah, that is what's going to happen. Watch and see. That is what's going to happen.
It have no. Yeah, which is good. They're destroying their own self.
That's right. That's what they did. You feel you so bright. You could just interpret the law, a serious law like that. Yeah. Where you prime minister, and all you have to do is to just get 20-something persons to support somebody who after you resign, and that's it. You ain't dead, you ain't sick,
and we can say what we want.
Yeah, but the arrogance of these assholes. But in fact, these whole asses, let me put it that way.
You just say these buffoons.
Yeah, nincompoops and asinine specimen of inhumanity. Yeah.
Yes, but anyhow, pleasant good night again.
Same to you, my friend. Same to you, my friend. Of course, it was a wonderful opportunity for us tonight to glean from, and it was my pleasure to carry it solid, and of course to make people, of course, make an intervention, even though it's 20 minutes past 10 already. But of course, let me just get a little piece of that, what time it is, and then of course we will go to a piece of that philosophy as to why people will see you as fools. Until I'm talking to you, why people will see you as fools, why the PNM will see you as a fool. There is, of course, a philosophical and moral and ethical reasoning that I'm sure tonight you will do some serious introspection as you go to bed.
Believe that the time has come. Election day when you stay in your hand. It's for the UNC and the rising sun, 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 sun.
What time it is? What time it is? What time it is? Now is the time for action. What time it is? What time it is? What time it is? Now is the time for action. Now is the time to build the nation, to seek for the children education. It's time for a leader who have a plan. Now is the time for action. Now is the time to reduce the tax. Now is the time for...
They told you to be kind, to be understanding, to be the bigger person. But what did it get you? Doors slammed in your face, people taking you for granted, a world that doesn't respect your softness but exploits it. And now you're left wondering, why does kindness make people disrespect you? Why do the ones you help the most betray you the fastest? You see, the world doesn't reward kindness, it punishes it. The more you give, the more they take. The more you forgive, the more they trample over you.
Yes, indeed, of course. That is philosophy. We are going to learn. We're going to learn quickly. We're going to learn expeditiously. The learning curve is short, but once you are connected to the ground report, rest assured you will get some deep thinking issues that must now, for you, be a matter of looking at yourself and, of course, taking the necessary corrective actions. Let's go to the line. The Pleasant good night. Welcome.
Good night, report here.
Good night to you, my friend.
I want to take my call tonight, boy.
Huh?
Yeah, no. I thought, like, you didn't want to take my call tonight.
I don't say that. What do you mean? Go ahead.
Yeah. You know what call I called? You know, that meeting was the best.
Yes, man.
While. And Michelle Benjamin was outstanding.
Yes. I got a little glimpse of her, but I know that all the talk they're talking about, she is not cut from the right cloth. whosoever come up against her, if she come up against the great gypsy, who the hell is this nobody that the PNM put up there? And of course, in La Hotel Talparo, why is of course this fella braggadocio? I talk about Cummins who don't know if he coming or going. If he feel that is all that is coming towards him, that is to say that favorable candidate, he have something else coming. He better be looking over his shoulder, just as Rowley at this point in time. They are in a state of shambolism, chaos, and deterioration, retrogression. A pleasant good night. Go ahead again, my friend.
Yeah, Lennox, I was getting discouraged, but I changed my mind tonight. And here what's going on. Him both talking about the healthcare, he's spending too much of money. But if you're spending too much of money, where the money going? Because I went in the clinic today, right? They don't have all the medication. And when
Watch me, let me tell you something. Let me cut a long story short. If they spend too much money, then he should get out of office. The time has reached for them to go. Just go. If you can't find the money, go. We have a government that says that they will find the money, and they have demonstrated that in the past. So just get the hell out of office. You can't manage your affairs, and look for your lockup, look for your jail, look for your blue lights and silver bracelets. That's all they have to do. All of them.
Yes. And when you go to the pharmacy, but you know, as I'm on the
there's nothing. Kamala talked about it today.
Yes.
There's a cartel. There's a drug importing cartel. We were saying that all the time, and we know who they are. We will call the names in due course, right? That, of course, like what did they accuse the UNC of fomenting, with respect, of course, to the so-called cartel behavior that they had the matter in court, and that too flopped because they cannot even bring a good case, and they have to amend, or they concoct and they try to set up people only to secure our conviction by utilizing their office and our money. Most despicable. These people should be egregiously, locked up and put away, not just go. They had to be locked up.
And when I went in the drugstore, I asked the fella, I said, I want to ask you a question. How the minister treating you with drugs? He said, they're not giving me no drugs at all. Because
you make a joke.
No drugs, I see that.
Watch me now. And let me tell you something. That is not just there, I went to help out a woman at the Riverside Plaza building. There are 4 elevators there, 1 working. And then, of course, there was an attitudinal kind of bad service kind of response and body language over at Besson Street. And eventually we ended up there to see the superintendent. And whilst in conversation, the person was abroad who was with me. Is from abroad, and she was with me. I asked the officer who was assisting us a pointed question. You know what he turned and say? I want to tell you that, what I have to say will not be politically correct, and therefore I don't want to be caught up in saying something that is politically incorrect. However, he went on to say that, in other words, it's a bunch of nonsense, square peg and round hole happening in the police service as elsewhere, simply because there are incompetent people, there are charlatans at the top of the management of all of the public spaces and institutions, only designed to protect Rowley and them. That's why I glean from the man.
It's not square peg and round hole, It ain't no peg in the hole, because even if you have a square peg in a round hole, it will hold something.
Something might happen. So, well, I can assure you that it can't fit, and therefore nothing could happen. So you're quite right. All right.
Right.
All right, let me get on with our close-up tonight. I just will take one. Yeah, okay. Yes, we of course, we'll just take one part of the whole question of why it is that Lavantil, that why Rowley and them and the PNM see you as fools, why they see you as as stupid, and they will not relent until you annihilate them from your psyche and your community. I should say our community. Let's continue, of course, with that statement of why it is that people will take advantage of you once you are accommodating or you are kind. You have been kind from time immemorial. Even when, of course, everybody else were unkind to the PNM, you were kind to them in 1986 to the Treaty, and yet still you are living the worst, and you have been stigmatized, and you have been, of course, brutalized to the point of no return almost. But listen,
it's time to wake
yes, why it is
up. It's time to understand a brutal truth the Stoics knew long ago. Kindness without strength is nothing but a weakness disguised as virtue. And here's the terrifying part. This isn't just about you. This is about everyone who has ever been walked over, manipulated and cast aside for being too nice. This is about the countless souls who thought doing good would bring them peace, only to realize that in this world, power matters more than virtue. But what if I told you there was a way to be kind without being weak? A way to command respect while still being honorable? The ancient Stoics mastered this, and by the end of this video, you will too. But only if you watch till the very last second. Miss even a moment, and you'll miss the one thing that could change your life forever. So subscribe now, because what you're about to hear will make sure no one ever disrespects you again. The brutal truth about kindness. You have been lied to. Since childhood, they filled your mind with fairy tales about kindness, telling you that if you are good to others, they will be good to you. That if you are patient, people will appreciate you. That if you sacrifice, the world will recognize your value. But look around. Has that ever been true? The ones who smile the most are often the ones who suffer the most. The ones who give endlessly are the ones who are left with nothing. The ones who show kindness without limits are the ones who are crushed under the weight of others' expectations. And while you struggle to understand why people mistreat you, those same people continue to take advantage of your silence, your patience, your endless willingness to forgive. Because here's the truth. No one...
Lavantil, listen! Lavantil, listen! Diego Martin, listen!
Without strength is a death sentence. The Stoics understood this over 2,000 years ago. Marcus Aurelius, the last great emperor of Rome, ruled not with softness, but with calculated discipline. He wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." But what does that mean? It means kindness is not enough. It means that to be truly virtuous, you must also be unbreakable. It means that if you do not draw the line, if you do not enforce respect, your kindness will be the very thing that destroys you. The world does not respect weakness disguised as goodness. It respects those who can balance virtue with power, patience with boundaries, and kindness with an iron will. And those who fail to see this truth will forever be at the mercy of those who do. Think about the most feared yet respected individuals in history. Were they cruel? Number. But were they weak? Never. Seneca, one of the greatest Stoic minds, once said, "A good character, when established, is not easily overthrown. A wise man does not stand unarmed before his enemies." And that is where the modern world has failed you. It has taught you to be kind, but never taught you to be formidable. It has convinced you that being gentle is enough, that turning the other cheek will make people respect you. But respect is never given freely. It is taken, it is enforced, and it is protected by those who understand its value. If you are always available, always forgiving, always bending for others, you are not being kind, you are being disposable.
You hear what I say? You know what I say? You keep voting for the PNM. They keep returning, of course, ache, pain, agony, strain, and stress, and disrespect. You are disposable. That is how the PNM treat you as they plot and connive at Balize House. Tomorrow night, of course, we will complete. I know that you want to hear more, but of course, it's past 10:30. And of course, we had quite a lot to what I consider to be to savor, to maul, to ideate, to consider by Kamala Prasad Bisesa and what she said tonight. So have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. See you tomorrow night as we continue, of course, with these and other matters that are of tremendous concern to all of us. Once again, Laventil, to be unrelentingly submissive and subservient to the PNM has brought us only exploitation and abuse. And we must now begin the process of acting from a power, from a position of strength. Since the 1986 election, if you had the right leaders, a PNM would have had to deliver. And like me, once I get a chance, as I would say right now, I'll empty the treasury in Laventil. Of course, that is not practical because there are other parts of the country, but I believe that we deserve a respectful bite of the national pie. And once love is at the hem of the decision-making process, having regard to what you know and what you will know, you bet your bottom dollar you know you could rest assured not to go to sleep. I want your eyes to be open, and I don't want you to be insomniated either. But the fact is that you must watch your business, as people like myself will be watching your business for you as we move forward. And Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the UNC, and of course the coalition of interests gets the 39 seats in Trinidad, and of course none for the PNM and Tobago either. To be able to move Trinidad and Tobago forward, and to, of course, give you what you deserve. What you deserve. Rather than, of course, being humble and subservient and to be dismissive by those who you would have assisted over all these years. Mercilessly. You know, I use a term, of course, to have you understand that there is a need for action. And the action comes when you put your finger in that ink. Having of course voted for the Love or the UNC, as the case may be, depending on the candidate in that particular part of Laventil or the East-West Corridor, and give a mandate to say, I now have changed and be part of history. And so, of course, I am entitled not to the abuse that is Rowley and the PNM. They must be relegated to the dustbin of political history in this country. Have a wonderful rest of the night. God bless. Don't forget, of course, that tomorrow night we are back here. And then, of course, we have, of course, the ground report tomorrow morning as far as the Mikey, Andy, and myself are concerned. Yes, indeed.
Mr. Kawe, why should everybody support you as the next political leader of the PNM and by extension the next Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago? Hold on, boss, hold on. You could talk English?
Yes. Everything is being camera. The PM is not doing nothing for this country. All your schools not completed. Look at the potholes. Look at crime situation. Vote for me, Kawe, for a better country.
This is a song about a man named Kawe from way down in South. going south. Kawe is a fella, the people talking about. Now he joined the PNM, they love him all the way. But all them in the PNM supporting Kawe. Rowley for Kawe, Dimmer for Kawe, Struck for Kawe, Fire for Kawe. Listen what I say, the whole of the PNM for Kawe, for Kawe, for Kawe. Yes, for Kawe. Oh, yo, yo, yo. Hey, hey, yo. Kawe is the real man. Kawe have a plan with foresight and vision to uplift the nation. Everybody calling him by name, and all them in the PNM riding him for fame. Camille for Kawe, Paula for Kawe, Shafa for Kawe, Marlene for Kawe. Listen to what I say, the whole PNM women league for Kawe, for Kawe, for Kawe. Yes, for Kawe. Oh, yo, yo, yo. Hey. People up in the beat, all them love Kawe bad. They wouldn't want to make water and run him out of the yard. People up in Lavanti, they want a new MP. And Kawe is the man, nobody better than he. Fitzgerald for Kawe, Franklin for Kawe, Dylan for Kawe, Coffee for Kawe. Listen to what I say, BNM executive for Kawe, for Kawe, for Kawe. Yes, for Kawe. Oh, yo, yo, yo.
Since you take over as Prime Minister, it's plenty pressure. We have to suffer, and you will do nothing better. Rowley really have to go. Oh, Rowley really have to go. Oh, Rowley really have to go. Since you coming forward, you is a big failure. Collapse the economy and it do nothing for we. What you have to show, we don't really know. What you have to show, we don't really know. Sorry Trinidad and Tobago, but Rowley Red.